up? What's up? It's your boy Ian Vaughn, and welcome to another episode of the Can We Talk R&B podcast. Now, I am, as you know, I'm the R&B ambassador, and my job is to find all of the dopest R&B contributors around the world. And we found one, guys. I have a very, very special artist. She's UK born. She is Nigerian heritage, from my understanding, and just an incredible culture pusher in R&B music. I mean, she's created this fusion of R&B, drill, soul vibes, and I'm telling you, it's like very refreshing to hear this sound in today's time. I have none other than my girl, Shae Universe. How you doing?
Yes, I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for making the time.
Absolutely.
Coming from across the pond to come hang out with us here at Can We Talk R&B.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
So we start the show off just like, I ask the same question to everybody. Can we talk R&B? So do you know about this thing?
Yes, I do. I do. I love R&B.
Yeah, let's dive into it. So what made you fall in love with this genre? Like, you know, being from the UK, I'm listening to your music and I'm like, you're pulling from all of our favorite soul singers, and you have some hip hop elements in the flow, and I mean, it's just really, really refreshing to hear. Reminds me of, you know, stuff I hear out of Philly, like Jill Scott vibes, and a combination of so many different, you know, flowetry and so many different fusions of different artists that I could think of that it pulls me to. You know, what made you fall in love with it?
First of all, that's a huge compliment. Thank you. In terms of what made me fall in love with R&B, well, I started singing in church. So my mum is actually a gospel singer, and I used to support her in our church choir. And I feel like R&B and gospel are like brother and sister in terms of, you know, their just the musical composition, the harmonies, like the melody lines. And so it was kind of like, it was just so natural when I started to discover my own artist for myself, my own R&B artist. It felt so close to what I already knew. And so it was so easy for me to just like merge into that world. So yeah, I would say it came from my gospel roots first, and then that's how I like entered into it.
Awesome. That's like all of us, I mean, as a singer myself, growing up in church, I think that's the best training ground for any real musician or real singer. You know what I mean? Understanding how to perform in front of an audience and really tap into the emotion and to the feeling of what you're trying to express. Absolutely.
And also just like embracing the flow state. I think that R&B, like some of my favorite R&B artists are people who, it's like when you see them live, it's not just a performance, it's an experience. You can tell that they are just a vessel for whatever is flowing through them, you know? And I think that also is very closely tied to singing in church as well.
Tell me about, so just talking about that, explain what that feeling is. How do you channel that? Like, how do you express that?
Wow, that's a really good question. I've never really thought of that before, because it's, for me anyway, it's not premeditated. It's literally a very present thing of just when I'm in the moment and what I feel to do and just what flows out of me. But I guess the key to that is just trying to be as present as I can in every moment, you know? Yeah.
I think in such artificial times, it's very, and as a musician, I feel best when I'm able to completely just surrender to the vibe. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to perform better. I'm able to record better. And with so much distraction, it's hard to channel in these days. You know,
100%.
Growing up, it wasn't as complicated, and I can feel that. I can feel it's so much more noise. So when I'm able to channel in, you know, that's why I asked the question, like, how do you tap into that feeling and able to translate that? Because I think that's the most special thing, because when the audience can receive that, they have a much better experience. You know what I mean?
That's so interesting. As you were speaking, I feel like my, okay, this is going to sound a bit random, but I feel like my gift is heavily related to my heart posture in life in general. I feel like as long as I keep my heart posture in a certain place and protect my energy and just consciously and intentionally be myself in a world where it is really hard to be yourself and you are pulled in so many different directions, that somehow creates the foundation for me to be able to tap into what I need to every time I need to do that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So even though it sounds like it's not directly related, it is. You know?
I love that. Talk about some of your influences growing up. So you obviously growing up in church, but who are some of the musical influences? Having your mother as a gospel singer, I'm sure she was obviously the most influential, but some of these other artists that kind of helped you, guide you into this.
So as I started to fall in love with R&B, it actually started more so with like neo soul. So I love Erykah Badu. I love Jill Scott. I love D'Angelo. I'm a very old soul, so those are the kind of artists, Lauryn Hill, those are the kind of artists I started listening to, Maxwell, Bilal, the list just goes on and on and on. And of course there are the more like mainstream artists like the Ushers and the Beyoncés but for the most part, my real love started from a place of neo soul, India.Arie, so those are the kind of artists that I was listening to.
I love India.Arie. I love everybody you just mentioned, but India.Arie is so special.
She's timeless, generational talent.
Yeah, she's incredible. So how have you, have that in terms of influencing you? I listen to your music, and I feel, every artist that you just mentioned, I feel some flavor, essentially, or some seasoning, should I say, from all of those artists. What made you decide to get into the music business to say, I want to be an artist? Because there's a difference between just being a good singer and an artist. Like, what made you say, I want to do this?
Well, I've always just loved all things to do with performing arts, singing, dancing, acting. And I actually, my university degree was originally in American theatre arts, which primarily focused on acting, acting for film, acting for TV, and even in theatre. So I thought, after coming from university, that's what I would go into. And that's what I was trying to go into. Like I had, the headshots and I was trying to go for auditions and do all of that. However, I feel like my ability to sing, it's not, even though I have obviously grown up with my mum and I've been in church and stuff, it's not something I was necessarily taught. Whereas with acting, it's like I trained in it and so when I graduated from university, whilst I was still trying to pursue the acting and doing the auditions and stuff, I also was just putting out covers on the internet. Like, it was so innocent. Sometimes I think back to that time and I'm just like, wow, there was no pressure. I was just doing what I loved and singing songs that I loved. And it just took off. Like, every single cover I would release would just go viral. And then from there, that kind of paved the way for me to be like, okay, all right, God, maybe this is really what I'm supposed to do then. And then I went more so in the direction of singing as opposed to acting.
Gotcha.
But I have always wanted to be a performer of sorts.
Gotcha. So how long, in terms of how long have you been putting music out
professionally?
Professionally.
Since like 2016, 2017.
Gotcha. So to me, I'm an old head in that regard. You're still getting your legs.
Yeah.
But when I hear the music, again, it sounds refreshing, but again, it's reminiscent to all of the R&B and neo soul specifically that we all fell in love with in the genre. So I think you're a great torch bearer, if that makes any sense.
Thank you so much. And that really that feels so good, because again, we live in such a fast-paced industry now, in the music industry.
Yes.
And it's so easy to feel like you're just like falling behind, or you're just, not where you're supposed to be yet. So being able to like receive that is so refreshing. Thank you.
Absolutely. So what is the response? Like, so you're an international artist. So what is the response internationally to the style of music that you're doing today?
Honestly, I have been absolutely blown away by the way that the US has received me.
Come on.
Blown away. I have like my supporters, and I get love in the UK because that's my hometown. That's where I've come from.
Sure.
But it does not compare in the slightest to the love I receive in the UK. I just went on tour. I just came off tour with an artist called Duran Bernard.
Come on.
And
big shout out to Duran.
He's amazing, so amazing as a person and an artist. And the love I received there, insane. I'm currently touring with John B, and the love I'm receiving there, insane. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I can definitely see the ascension like happening as it's happening.
Yeah, we popped in the show last night to see you. I know they had a mishap with travel and timing,
Unfortunately.
but I was looking forward to it. But John killed it. Big shout out to Leela James and Eric Robeson.
Yes.
Cameron Corvée. They all did a fantastic job at the show. Touring with someone like John, like what are you learning from being on the road with an artist, like a legendary artist in that respect?
Oh my gosh. Where do I even start with what I'm learning from him? There's so many things. Number one, and this is like one of the biggest things I think that stuck out to me about him. John B is a US legend. He can walk into any room he wants to and be respected because of the magnitude of his legacy, right?
Yeah.
But he also somehow has managed to maintain a level of normalcy in his life. That's not something you see often, because a lot of people who are super big stars, it's like they don't have their privacy. They can't move without there being like people on their backs or paparazzi, or you know. And don't get me wrong, he definitely has his groupies.
Sure.
You know, that he has people that will lose their but he has still maintained a level of normalcy, which I admire and respect so much. It's taken me a while to figure out. I think I'm still figuring out what superstardom looks like for me, you know. How I want my global stardom to look. And honestly, I don't think I want to be the artist that's like, that doesn't have any privacy, that can't step out of my house without like people going like, I don't want that, you know. And John B has shown me that you can have the global success, you can have the financial freedom, you can have the respect without necessarily losing yourself to it. So that's been a beautiful thing to learn. And then also the other main thing I think is the team that you have around you. John has people around him that he has been, you know, friends with and known for years, and the bond is locked in, their trust is there foundationally. So, and I can see how that contributes to everything. So yeah, I would say there's so many things, but those are probably the two main ones.
No, absolutely. 30 years in the game, you know what I'm saying? So he's a true legend in the game. We had him on our show last season. It was actually one of our incredibly viral episodes in terms of him expressing himself, but we definitely love John. I'm one of John's biggest fans, so big shout out to him.
Big shout out to him.
So when we were talking, you mentioned team, and so we were talking about being self-managed. Right now, I hear so many artists now, it's like we definitely want to have a team, but you're not necessarily need to be dependent on, not in the way that it used to be. Can you talk about some of the ups and downs or the pitfalls, or just the benefits of having that level of control over your career?
Yeah. So in terms of like some of the cons, and funnily enough, I'm also experienced this in the UK than I do in the US. But I think sometimes when you manage yourself, even if you're doing all of the greatest, most amazing things, there are certain events or certain, setups where they're just not going to take you as seriously, because it's like, well, there's no middleman, you know, like I can have this with you directly. And for some reason that makes them devalue whatever it is you bring to the table. I've never really understood it. I think it's backwards, but that's a very real thing that I've experienced quite a few times. However, I found in the US, people respect it a lot more. It's like, wow, you have done a tiny desk, you've done this, and you manage yourself. Oh my gosh. And they embrace it, you know? So that's been a difference I've noticed. And in terms of the pros in general, you just have a lot more control, you know, over your career. I can move at my own pace. I don't have to confine myself to the rat race that is the music industry of today. You know, I can take my time to release my music. I can literally do what I want. And I think that that's such a beautiful freedom to have as an artist. You know, I've done so much research about like majors and labels and just the infrastructure of the music industry. And the truth of the matter is, it's not set up in a way to free us. It's not. It's set up in a way to keep us entrapped, actually, in a system and in a way of. So this is my way of just like emancipating myself.
I love it. So let's talk about the music. So the most recent single is it Journey?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
It's the latest release. Yeah. So like, is this a precursor for a new album that's coming out, or what is it?
So honestly, it's actually just super random.
Okay.
So Sabrina and Idris Elba. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them.
course.
Okay, they have a skincare line called Sables, and they our relationships kind of just formed organically, and then they came up with this really unique idea of turning their skincare line into like a just broadening it. So it's not just a skincare line. You can also have live events around it. You can also release like a album that kind of has a live-ish feel. And they approached me for it, and we just kind of came up with a song for the album. So it was literally super random.
Oh, wow.
I still, obviously my name is still attached to it, and I still love the song, but it wasn't like a part of my rollout plan or you know. I am working on my own music separately to that.
Gotcha.
But it was kind of just a thing that I did with them because I enjoyed it, and I loved the idea and the concept around it.
Now to me, you said you're not sure if I'm familiar with it, but that's a big name to just drop and say, oh, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Idris Elba is like one of the biggest stars in Hollywood.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
I'm still gauging, like, I don't know what is
Because he's from the UK.
popular. Like here, because there's some people that are super, super, super big in the UK, and I mention them here, and it's like, who?
Nah, we love Idris Elba in the US, and I'm familiar with his wife. I know my wife and I've sent pictures like, look how fly they look. We want to step like them. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that so much. Yeah, so it was a honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, got you. Okay, how'd that happen? Like,
How did it come around?
Yeah.
Okay, so they first wanted to put on a private event. This was the first ever thing they did outside of the skincare with Sables. And they reached out, they handpicked literally like a very few bunch of artists. I was one of those artists that they reached out to. And they asked us to perform for this private event and I guess have a discussion around the songs that we performed. That's how it started. And then the album idea came from... they've taken, so if you listen through to the whole, because now they've released the whole album, so not just my song, they've now released the actual album. And if you listen through to the album, it's called No Lip Service. In between each song, they've actually inserted certain clips from that live night that we did. So it's like a merging of the songs that we've brought to the project, but also the live event that we had that night. So that's kind of how it came around. And just to circle back to the independent thing and self-management thing, I think this is also a very, very big pro for me as well, because things like this can happen. They don't have to wait or find the middleman. They can come directly to me, you know? Yeah.
I love that. He's an artist too, though, right? I know he's a DJ. Yeah. I know he
DJs. He makes music. He's kind of just got his hand in like different pots.
He's an awesome creative. I that song Bozy. I think that's his record, right?
Yes, Bozy.
Yeah,
Bozy. Yeah, that song. I love that song.
That's hard. Okay, so you are also, in terms of the genre, R&Drill.
Yes.
Explain to us what's R&Drill.
What R&Drill is. So R&Drill is a fusion of R&B and drill music. More so the cadence of drill, but the melodies and like the harmonies of R&B, And honestly, when I first experimented with this sound, because it was an experimentation, it was an exploration. At that time, I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to like create something fresh for myself, to return the joy back into the craft, because sometimes once you find out about the business and how everything works, it can start to feel like, damn, there's so many moving parts to this. So at the time I just wanted to explore, and I ended up doing so with the producer that I was working with at the time, shout out OJ, and it ended up just sprouting into this much bigger thing than I ever anticipated. So I made a project, an EP called Unorthodox. All the songs on that EP were a fusion of R&B and drill. And off the back of that project, Spotify ended up creating a verified playlist titled R&D, which was obviously a play on R&B. And my project is what basically kickstarted that playlist. So they put all my songs in there and started it off. And now obviously, there's so many different songs in there. Like so many people have done their own takes and interpretations of R&B and drill. But that's kind of how my journey with it started.
I love it. Are you seeing other artists try to imitate or emulate the sound?
Oh, I've been seeing.
Yeah.
I've been seeing. Like I first did this in maybe 2019, 2019 or 2020, 2019 or 2020, one of those. And shortly after Spotify started to highlight it, that's really when I started to see like loads of people just like coming out and doing it. And, you know, I'm probably not the very first person to mix R&B and drill because nothing is new under the sun. But in terms of the way in which I did it and the light I brought to it, yeah, I would say I kind of got my foot in that door.
So as your influence grows, do you feel any sense of protection over, you know, in terms of the style or any, or is there any sensitivity to that?
No, because even though that was definitely a chapter for me and a very impactful and I guess integral one, I'm not too caught up with like the ego of things, you know. I'm grateful for what I've been able to do and the people who see it or the people that know, you know, but I'm not too fussed about it, you know. And also R&Drill, I knew this even when creating it. R&Drill is not like where I'm going to stay. It's not a box that I'm putting myself in to be known as an R&Drill artist because at heart, I'm a soul artist, you know. So yeah, so I'm easy.
I love it. It's art begets art.
Yeah.
So you're just inspired by different things. So
Exactly.
if something I may listen to, I'm like, oh, I like what Shae did on here. I might try to put a spin on it myself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really what art and inspiration is about, actually.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your Tiny Desk experience. First of all, everybody wants to get on Tiny Desk.
Yeah.
Talk about that experience, how that happened.
So my story of how I got on Tiny Desk is actually very, very unique and just kind of wild. So one of the producers had followed me on Instagram maybe like a few months ago, and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. And I followed her back. Months passed, we didn't really have much interaction, and one day she liked one of my posts and it reminded me like, oh, I actually have this person on my radar. And so I just DM'd her. This is before I had released Love's Letter, which is my second project. I released it on Valentine's Day last year, but this was maybe like January, and it was coming out in February, and I literally DM'd her we had no prior conversation, we just followed each other. I DM'd her and I said, hey, I've got this project and I really believe that it's world class, like I would love to be on Tiny Desk. She listened to it, she went back, she played it to her team, and that's literally how I got my
just
Tiny
like
Desk.
that.
Just like that.
Wow.
You know, and I think there's something so special about that because honestly, in my heart, though I believed in the music and that's why I sent the DM, there was that little bit of imposter syndrome that we all get where it's like, really, you really about to just ask for a Tiny Desk, like just on a whim like that? But I did. Yeah. And I have the Tiny Desk now. So sometimes you just got to do it.
So talk about the power of just starting, or talk about the power of just doing something.
Right. I think it's so powerful. And I think it's so powerful that it's like, it feels like the hardest thing. That's why it feels like the hardest thing to do, because of the power it holds, you know? It's why so many of us procrastinate on these great ideas that we have. It's like something actively trying to fight against us, because the power of starting can really change your life, for real. It does. It's changed so many people's lives.
Literally in everything there is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about, as an artist, I think about this show. I just had the idea and I just started.
Wow.
And again, I've had some relationships. I knew some people. I've been in the business, but to just start and then you watch the avalanche happen after that. That's how it goes. So I think that's. I mean, just listening to you mention the Tiny Desk thing, so many people like, oh, I want to see this artist on there. I want to see this artist on there, and I'm like, you know, are they doing? Are they starting? Are they taking the steps? You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's just favors, and it's just it was for you to have.
That's also true as well.
So you've you've been making a lot of noise, and I guess creating creating an incredible, I guess, headway for yourself.
Thank you.
What is your goal? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? And I guess, what legacy are you trying to lead in R&B music or in music?
You know, I've been asked that question a few times in like different interviews that I've had, and I find that over time it changes slightly as I grow and as I mature and as I learn more about the industry that I'm in. But I think honestly, musically, I want to I want to explore every genre that resonates with my soul. So that much I know I want to do. It's in the name, you know, Shae. The name found me before I really understood the magnitude of it. I want to have a universal appeal. I want to have something in my catalog for everybody, you know, where it's just like, okay, this might not be for you, but this is for you. But, you know, and I think that is also studying some of the greats. A lot of them have had errors. Maybe it's not been like too extreme, like from rock to, but they show their versatility, you know, and that's what I want to do with my music, with my catalog when everything is said and done. In terms of my intention and the impact that I want to leave in the world, as cliche as it sounds, I want to be an artist that is remembered for just promoting good energy and operating from a place of love, you know, and that radiating in everything I do and everyone I encounter, in just the ripple effect that my music leaves in people's lives. As simple as it sounds, like, the music industry is full of bad energy. It is, you know, it's a crazy place, and so many things are glorified and so many things are, you know, put on a pedestal. And sometimes I'm looking around, I'm just like, this just seems so backwards. Like, some of the things that are so bad are seen as good, and etc, etc, etc. So that's been one of the biggest parts of the battle I've also faced in this industry, where it's like feeling like I need to change myself, or I need to like become a bit more provocative or like controversial or whatever it might be that is trending or that's cool. So I really just want to like hold on to that integrity and just be a light. I just want to be a light.
Is there one artist that you look to the most to say, you know, this music has inspired me the most, or you know, that I want to I don't want to say emulate, but I want to follow that track record in terms of how impactful that music was?
There's two people that come to mind when you ask that question, and for different reasons. The first artist that actually comes to mind is Frank Ocean. Yeah, Frank Ocean, he's an interesting one because he just did his thing and then he dipped. He said, see ya.
But he made such a huge impact.
Like, huge. You know, and I think that a big part of the impact that he has made is due to the timelessness of the music. You know? So that's definitely an inspiration for me, because the whole goal is to make music that stands the test of time. So Frank Ocean would be up there. But then also Tems. I like Tems. I really like Tems, actually. Just because, again, just from one Nigerian woman to another Nigerian woman, we don't make the same style of music, but I really respect how she's been able to navigate her stardom. Because from the outside looking in, she's probably been making music, you know, for ages. But from the outside looking in, things happened quite fast for her in terms of her just, you know, being a global star.
Once we were introduced to her, it was
like boom. One thing, next thing. And as someone who's also in that industry on my own unique journey, I can only imagine how just crazy and intense it was. But I respect how she's managed to still maintain her privacy. You don't hear her in no mess or no scandals, or you know, she's just doing her thing out the way. And then when she chooses to pop out, it's a moment, and then she goes back and does it. I respect that. You know?
She's one, like, I had a recent conversation about superstars and mega stars, and the way the industry has moved so fast, we have so many artists now that we have access to. Now everyone's super, if that makes any sense. But Tems is one of those artists that I'm like, she's one of the new artists that has reached this megastar level with class and with quality, you know, quality music, and it's just, you know, she's really making an impact globally, and that's important. That's awesome. So she's Frank Ocean and Tems, two great people to mention. Is there something specific that you want our audience to know about Shae's Universe?
Is there something specific
besides listening to the music? Y'all got to tap in.
If you ever get the chance or the opportunity to see me perform live in your lifetime, I would advise you to come and see me perform live. I think that there is something very special about the flow state, you know, that's different to pre-recorded music in the studio that's been, you know, mixed and mastered, and it's a real, I'm a real vessel for God, you know, and I don't think that's something that you just have to be there in the moment to experience. So I would say, yeah, if I'm ever coming to your city, if you ever see, you know, me around, definitely come out, say hi, and just enjoy that experience with me, because I don't think it's one that you will forget.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. New project dropping. What can we expect?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple different projects, to be honest. I can't really say too much about that yet, yet, but I am working on new music, so
excellent.
That will be coming soon.
Oh, excellent. And just last thing, I mean, in terms of in the market, are you performing anywhere for the week this weekend?
No, I won't be performing, but I will be dotted around at lots of different events happening for Essence Fest. I was meant to have a panel talk, but that fell through. So I'm really just enjoying my time in New Orleans now. In terms of performing, I am still on tour with John B. So if you guys manage to catch, we're kind of at the tail end of the tour now, but there's still a couple shows left. So have a look online. If we're coming to your city, please get your tickets, because, you know, John B, Shae Universe. I mean,
come on. Shae, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And as always, this is, you know, a continued conversation. I have my girl Shae Universe in the building. Thank you guys. Can we talk R&B?
Can we talk? Oh, can we talk?